Okay, 2013 Hyundai Elantra. I'm getting a crank position sensor code. We come in here to our diagnostic tool. P0335. I'm going to show you how to find this and what to do with this. Okay, jack the car up. To get to it, we want to remove these plastic guards, these guards to get to it. We've got to get up underneath, in between where the engine and transmission mounts. So I'm gonna pull these off really quick, really easy. Honestly, it's just a 10 millimeter bolt, and it's gonna make trying to get to it, you really can't get to it without it. So I'm gonna pull these bolts off really quick to drop this shroud. Gonna make it a lot easier for working on it. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, let me back up a little bit. You can see here's the transmission. Here's the engine over here, engine oil pan. For reference of location, here's the oil filter. You can see this crank position sensor right up next to that oil filter. So you can see it right there. This guy right here. Got a 10 millimeter bolt right next to it. That's what holds it into place. The wire goes up. It is zip tied into location, and then it goes up and it's plugged in right here. So that's it. I'm gonna take a 10 millimeter and pull that out, and then I'll unclip it and I will show you this, and then we're going to ohm that piece out. So transmission, here's the front of it. Here's the oil filter for location. And then it is right up above there with that 10 millimeter bolt to get access to it. Here's what it looks like, not removed from the wiring harness yet, but that 10 millimeter bolt pulled out, and there's the hole that it goes into in the block. That's what it looks like. So just so you know, you've removed the right piece. Just pretty straightforward at this point. But I'm gonna go up and undo that wiring harness up above there and undo it from that zip tie location. But we're in the right position or right place now, and go ahead and pull it out, and then we'll ohm this to see what it is doing, if it shows that it is faulty. But pretty sure that that is the case. Their car's running fine, it's just getting an error code thrown. To test your new one, so here's my new one here, and honestly, I'm just going to be totally honest, my old one actually tested okay, but it has been intermittent, and this is the easiest thing it could be to repair this problem. I've gone ahead and set my multimeter to ohms. So the little upside down horseshoe looking thing is an ohm, if you're not aware of that. And this should test out to, this particular sensor is about 1,000 ohms. Some of them are higher, some of them are lower. So I've got it set at 20,000 ohms. I could set it to 2,000 ohms right there. And now, right now it says open load, so there's no load on it. I can touch those together and you'll see that it zeroes out if I touch them together. When I touch the contacts inside of here, let me try and get this with one hand so you can see it. When I try and touch the contacts inside of here, see if I can get it positioned just so. It's going to be very sneaky to do this. You'll see that it tests out to 884 ohms. My other one tested higher than that. Now, you can look up the exact specification for your crank position sensor and see. I'm actually pretty confident that the old one is still functioning okay, but it has been an intermittent problem. And I'm sending this girl down to college and don't want her to be trying to fight intermittent things. And it's one of those things that when it goes bad, it goes bad. I don't want her to find out down the road 1,000 miles that it's gone bad. So we're replacing this a little bit preemptive. You can ohm it to see if yours is bad, if the resistance will be way off, or it'll be open, it'll be stuck open, or stuck closed, and it'll have way too much resistance. So For this particular crank position sensor, and you can look up the ohm specifications for the vehicle you're working on, this one's right around 900 ohms that it should come back as. And this was 884, which is exactly where it should be. So now I'm actually going to plug it in from the top. You can see that plug right down there. You can see the back of that yellow piece there. I'm going to actually plug it in from the top, and it has this little clip right there that it slides on that metal bracket down there, and then I'll go through and fish it through from the bottom, and we'll plug it back in and clear the codes and check it out. You can see it reattached there with that yellow clip back on there, and you can just see that bracket that it sits on behind there. Pointing to it with my finger, but it's going to go out of focus, and it slides on there. You had to take it off the other one to get it back out, but that's reattached from the top. I'll climb underneath and show you where I fish it through from the bottom. You can see the sensor hanging there, but honestly, not a hard job to do. And frankly, from a diagnostic perspective, any shop's going to charge you 50, 75 bucks to even look at it. The part was 70 bucks. I'll put a link to it in the description. You might as well replace it and put it on there to see if it's your problem. I realize that's not the best diagnostic advice, but sometimes, honestly guys, it's just easier to try an electronic part like that and see if it's what's causing you faulty error codes to pop up. And this has been an intermittent problem. Chasing intermittent problems is always a headache. Bolt torque specs for that is 10 foot-pounds. It actually gives you a range of 9.8 to 11. I put it right at 10. You've got a really accurate multimeter. If you're in question of it, do not over tighten it. This is a plastic housing with a plastic piece. You will absolutely crack it and it will leak oil. So if you have access to a multimeter, or excuse me, a torque wrench, an electronic torque wrench I really like, but if you don't have an electronic one, be gentle with it. Less is more with this one. So 10 foot-pounds. Went ahead and started it back up. The code reader tells us we got no codes stored in our module, so it actually already cleared that code out by just replacing that. Honestly, didn't take me 30 minutes from beginning to end. Took me longer to go get the part from AutoZone, and I actually have a link to it from Amazon. It's cheaper from Amazon, same Dorman part. But if you're not aware, the OBD port on this Hyundai is in the fuse block as well, so that's a little interesting there. But yeah, we're good to go, all cleared out. Start it up, and no check engine codes, so everything's styling. Pretty easy fix. Don't be afraid of this one. This one was super easy to get to. Honestly, harder to take that plastic shield off than it is to actually get that piece out. So, all right, and this is a great little scanner. If you've never had this, I'll put a link to this in the description down below. Great scanner. I've used this countless times to solve these little headaches.